Hello again. In this video today, I will be discussing the 9, it was originally meant to be 5 reasons, but it turned out to be 9. I will be discussing the 9 reasons as to why I no longer follow the New Age spirituality path, if you can even call it that. I've actually taken notes for this video because it was literally burning in my head. Not literally burning in my head, but I had to get it down last night before I forgot it. So here we go. The first pointer is the toxicity of the love and light aspect. And what I mean by that is that it's either like do something right or attract negativity. For me, if anyone knows me, I've dealt with negative shit, quote unquote negative shit all my life, like depression, eating disorders, all of that bullshit. And to tell me that the lower emotions are not valid, and that if I don't follow a specific path, my vibrational lower to the point where I'm literally like depressed or whatever. I don't exactly follow that anymore because I literally have clinical depression and chronic pain. So I believe in balance. I don't believe in like a duality of like light and dark. I believe in balance because balance in all things is where you're the most strongest. So and the second pointer is always being put into labels, groups, or overall separation from oneself. Now, what I mean by that is the labels such as like Lemurian or like Starseed or like shit like that. See, I have like multiple past lives. I'm like a priestess or a goddess or something, but none of that resonates with now. I mean, the high priestess does, but that's about it. Every fucking day, a certain friend who I'm now disconnected to altogether, told me that, I have like a past life as freaking Pandora, Martha, or whoever else I want to fucking label myself as, when I should really be focusing on myself, Amanda, here and now, instead of focusing on every other fucking life I've had and trying to integrate all of that shit in my life, because that's just not gonna happen. I mean, yes, it'll happen over time, but not now. And what I mean from the separation from oneself part is, once again, going back to the endless labels that we place upon ourselves. The endless labels literally take us away from our core and who we truly are in this realm, in this timeline, in this world. Midgard, Earth, whatever you want to call it. It takes us away from who we are in this lifetime. And that is one of the reasons why I no longer follow the path of New Age spirituality. And the third pointer is the emphasis on chakra balancing / real world based healing. Now, it's not saying I don't believe in the chakra system, because I definitely do, but I do not believe it is the be-all, end-all for health. I believe if you integrate medical stuff with spiritual practices and do not ignore the foundations of medical shit on this realm, we will not heal. We must integrate both spiritual practices and medical assistance to fully grasp what we need to heal and get it sorted. Okay, the third, whatever. I can't even remember what freaking number this is, but anyway. The next pointer is cult-like atmosphere, because I've unexpectedly found myself in a freaking cult that actually did a cord cutting with Loki Laufson and I via apparently Loki's request. Now, I have had direct communication with Loki Laufson myself via tarot reading, and he wants to continue this, whatever it is. And also, the so-called variant that was so-called God spouse to me was never Loki in the first place. Now, getting away from Loki, the friend I was in association with, I cannot freaking get words out, literally said, every single time I had a mental breakdown, which was a lot, by the way, it should have been really telling, that if you cannot trust my word, then I do not know what to tell you. You are, like, she literally called me abusive and all of that shit, just because I was associating myself with anti-Lokians to get different perspectives. So then again, they were micromanaging what I can and cannot do without even being aware of it, and every single time I called them out on it, they said, oh, they care for me, they only want to help me, and blah blah blah. And then again, with the Loki situation, they said Loki isn't there to hurt you, but then again, this quote unquote breakup was nothing but hurt. That made me just feel like I couldn't trust Loki or any divinity for that matter. Until he came through in a very strong way yesterday and was like, nope, we're still in connection. Like, just don't worry about those idiots, basically. But anyway, so the community as a whole is quite demolishing and controlling. Like, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat this shit anymore. It's either love or light, or nothing. Okay, the next pointer is being told who you are and where you come from. It correlates once again to the loss of connection with oneself, pointer, whatever. Now, that's not to say you cannot discover who you were in past lives, but you cannot, and I mean you cannot, use that as leverage for your own practice, because I've had people who literally claim to be Sigyn, Loki Laufson's wife, and also Angrboda, another wife of Loki Laufson, and be like, oh, you know who I am. Oh, she's also Mary Magdalene, by the way. And she's using that as a leeway to be like, you know who I am, you know I have information that you need, blah blah blah, I can protect you, I can help you, I can keep you in the light, blah blah blah. Literally being told who I am and where I come from The only being that I trust is the beings that come through my head myself. So I was told by the Lemurians a while ago that I'm a Lemurian and that I'm basically here to help assist the awakening process, which I am doing by calling out these fuckheads. And people are like, oh, you're not only Lemurian, you're a high priestess, you are freaking Pandora from Greek mythology, you had like 5 lifetimes with like Loki, you were married. And I mean, if I was married, why would the relationship end just because I was doubting whether he was real or not? That's a genuine question. Why the hell would he leave and tell me that he doesn't want to be with a woman who disrespects his family and me? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, yes, I know Loki doesn't like the disrespect, but the people who are claiming to be reborn gods and goddesses, I doubt they actually were. They were using that as a method of control, and I no longer stand for it. Anyway, the next pointer is God complexes. Once again, literally thinking that you are little gods and goddesses, and thinking that you are somehow above everyone else because of who you are. If you claim to be freaking Sigurd, Angerboda, or whatever, then start acting like it. I'm sorry, but start acting like it. The next pointer is control, and I mean like controlling like whole tactics, like being told who you are, who you can and cannot talk to, being told that deities don't like you talking to certain people, which I understand, but why can they not tell me that themselves? Being told that your vibration is low because of psychic attacks or whatever, like, it's just overall controlling. And again, the next pointer is the sense of self issue. When you get that deep into past lives, you tend to lose your sense of self because you are surrounded by information and spirits that you just lose your sense of self. Like, you no longer know who you are. You no longer comprehend your vessel in 3D realm, which is toxic in itself. The whole concept of 3D and 5D is just toxic. But anyway, you no longer take into consideration that you're literally losing yourself in the path and in specific deities and in the groups that you call friend groups that aren't even friends in the end because you literally cannot trust anyone. And the last pointer is unrealistic expectations. Now, what I mean by that is also correlating with every other pointer in this video. For me, unrealistic expectations is like, you're around said spirit and they're around you like all the time, but you don't feel them, and yet they tell you that they like love you and that they're around you like all the time. So you literally expect a connection just because they're around you, or you're told they're around you. You technically don't have to put any work in because they're already like in communication with you and whatever, and all of that shit. And also like being told like, oh, you must align your chakras or you're gonna be fucking depressed or whatever. Like, That's just toxic. Or being told like, oh, you're this, and this. You shouldn't care about what law of vibrational beings say. Like, the unrealistic expectation of believing that you're immune to the 3D realm is just bullshit. And with that, this video is done, and namaste, love and light, blah blah blah. Hail Loki, because him and I are still in connection no matter what people say.